The wind howled across the Wyoming plains like a living thing, restless, hungry, searching. Caleb Hart had spent enough years trailing cattle and crossing empty land to know when trouble was brewing, and trouble was exactly what he saw up ahead: a lone woman, bent forward, dragging a wagon by a rope wrapped around her waist. The wagon's wheels shuddered with every inch. She looked as fragile as a sapling in a storm. Caleb slowed his horse. No one, not even the toughest ranch hand he knew, could haul a wagon alone. Not over land like this. Not with a belly heavy with child. He nudged his hat lower against the gusts and guided his horse toward her. The woman didn't look up until he was nearly beside her, and when she did, the stubborn fire in her eyes made him pull up short. "I'm fine," she said before he could open his mouth. "Fine." Caleb almost snorted. He dismounted, boots hitting dry earth. "Ma'am," he said, calm and low, "that wagon's begging for mercy." She tightened her grip on the rope. "I just need to keep moving. Cedar Ridge is a day's walk." "Not with a busted wheel," Caleb replied, giving the wagon a once-over. "The back wheel leaned like a drunk after payday." She pressed her lips together. "I don't have a choice." Caleb took a long breath. He'd seen pride before, too much of it in men who chose hardship over asking for help. But there was something deeper in her, something carved into her like the wind had carved the canyons: grief, and the determination grief sometimes leaves behind. "What's your name?" he asked gently. "Lydia Barnes." The last name hit him. Barnes. Jonah Barnes. A rancher folks around Cedar Ridge still talked about. Good man. Hard worker. "You're Jonah's," Caleb stopped himself. "Widow," Lydia finished for him. Her voice didn't break, but it trembled around the edges. Lightning flashed in the distance. Storm clouds pushed over the horizon like an army. Caleb didn't hesitate. "Ma'am," he said firmly, "you're coming with me." Her head snapped up. "No. I don't take charity." "This ain't charity," he said, stepping closer, lowering his voice. "It's plain decency." For a moment, Lydia's shoulders sagged, not in defeat, but in relief she didn't want him to see. She looked at the endless land behind her and the storm gathering ahead. Finally, she nodded. Caleb hitched her wagon to his horse, helped her climb up behind him, and set off toward Cedar Ridge. For the first several miles, Lydia didn't speak. She held the saddle with one hand and her belly with the other, breathing slow and steady. Caleb didn't ask questions, she'd share what she wanted when she was ready. But as they passed a stretch of wildflowers bending in the wind, Lydia whispered, "Jonah died in the spring. Fever." She swallowed. "We had plans. A nursery. A field he wanted to replant. A bigger wagon." Caleb let the silence hold her words. "He used to say people were good," she continued. "Said the world only felt cold because folks forgot their responsibility to each other." Caleb glanced at her. "Smart man, Jonah." She offered a faint smile. He was. Thunder cracked. Rain began to fall, hard and sudden, the way storms love to surprise travelers. "We should pick up the pace," Caleb said. But he felt Lydia tense behind him. A soft gasp escaped her. "You all right?" She hesitated. I think the baby's coming early." Caleb's heart lurched. "Now." Another contraction answered for her. He scanned the landscape. No barns. No houses. Nothing but land stretching in all directions, and then, to the west, a faint shape. A line shack. Old, abandoned, probably leaking, but shelter. "Hold on," he said, and urged the horse toward it. They reached the shack just as the sky split open with rain. The structure was barely 4 walls and a roof, but it was enough. Caleb laid blankets from his horse's packs on the dirt floor, helped Lydia down, and stoked a quick fire with dry scraps he found under the table. The storm outside thundered like Judgment Day itself. Lydia gripped his hand, fighting through wave after wave of pain. "I can't do this alone," she whispered. "You're not alone," Caleb promised. He squeezed her hand, his voice steady despite his pounding heart. Not anymore. Hours crawled past. The storm raged. Lydia cried out, then pushed, then cried again. Caleb coached her as best he could, remembering the way his own mother had helped neighbors birth babies back in his childhood. He held Lydia's shoulders when she shook, wiped sweat from her brow, reassured her every time fear flickered in her eyes. And just when the world felt like nothing but wind and pain and waiting, a newborn cry filled the shack. A boy. Lydia let out a sob, holding the tiny, perfect child to her chest. Caleb wrapped them both in the last dry blanket he had. He's here, Lydia whispered, staring at the baby as if seeing a miracle. Jonah he would have loved him. Caleb swallowed hard. He'd be proud of you. Both of you. The storm eased. Dawn crept in through the cracks, warm and golden. Lydia looked up at Caleb with tear-filled eyes. You saved us, she said. Caleb shook his head. You saved yourself. I just helped pull the wagon. She smiled, the first true smile he'd seen on her face. Caleb, she whispered, thank you. He tipped his hat. Just promise me one thing. What's that? When you see someone struggling, remember today. And lend them a hand. She nodded, clutching her newborn close. I will. When they finally rode toward Cedar Ridge, wagon trailing behind, baby bundled in Lydia's arms, the land looked different. Brighter. Softer. Caleb glanced back at the tiny shack, glowing in the rising sun. Some acts of kindness changed a moment. Others changed a life. And some, like stopping for a stranger in need, changed the world in small but mighty ways. Because no one, Caleb thought, should ever have to pull the wagon alone.